Still on time. There you go. There you go. Relax. See everything coming.
He was fighting his big boy.
A heavyweight.
Heavyweight boy. And Tank hit that nigga. He hit him so hard that he was on the top of the rope just like this.
It allowed Jake Paul's brother to be in there and be able to last with a smaller man, a smaller, older, greater fighter who's mostly was concentrating on defense more than just offense.
Gervonta Davis is stepping up his training by sparring with heavyweights. Before his fight with Jake Paul, Davis is going all out. He's been fighting bigger men in the ring and holding his own. After Davis fired a loud shot, the heavyweight reportedly seemed spooked during one of the sessions.
Oh, no, you're right.
But tell people what happened.
Man, I was about to spar. Before I was about to spar Tank, he was sparring his big boy.
A heavyweight.
Heavyweight boy. And Tank hit that nigga. He hit him so hard that he was on the top of the rope just like this. I'm like,
People are talking about Gervonta Davis again, this time by pushing and punching heavyweight fighters during hard sparring sessions. Known for his explosive strength in the lightweight and super lightweight classes, Tank is showing that his size doesn't stop him from being strong. In the most recent video, he's seen landing precise combinations with speed and accuracy that make even bigger fighters nervous. He shows how seriously he's getting ready by controlling the rhythm, slipping counters, and firing back with combinations. Every move shows that he's not just working on his strength, but also his endurance, so he can take on bigger, stronger opponents. Something that will be very important in his next fight with Jake Paul.
Look like you're playing pool with a short stick. Ball in between them. Punch when he punch, yeah. Punch when he punch. Punch when he punch. Yep. They ain't stopped firing. We slowed down. Now we're gonna commence firing again. That's what we do. We reload and come back. Yeah, you ain't gotta get close, Tank, because we know you're scared to get close. Get close, Tank. Keep rolling, Cam. All the way down the road. Come to me, baby.
Even though Davis is much bigger than some of his training partners, Tank keeps fighting boxers who are much bigger than him. These sessions aren't about being in charge. They're about being exact. Even when he's up against stronger fighters, he's learning how to manage distance, control speed, and keep his signature explosiveness. His staff said that these workouts help him figure out the angles and timing of his movements, which are important for getting used to Jake Paul's strange boxing style. Davis realizes that Jake's biggest advantage is his size. So, by sparring with heavyweights, he's getting rid of that concern early on. It's a plan based on discipline and confidence, since he's getting ready for every possible situation that could happen when the bell rings.
Here's a clip of Gervonta Tank Davis releasing footage of him training and sparring with a heavyweight ahead of his showdown with YouTube sensation turned professional boxer Jake Paul that's set to take place November 14th in Atlanta, Georgia at the State Farm Arena. Tank Davis is 5'4" and he weighs in at 135. His last fight, he actually was 133 pounds. Jake Paul is 6'1" with a 76-inch arm reach, and he weighed in at 199 pounds his last fight. And fight before that, he weighed in at 224 pounds. Gervonta Tank Davis has a 67-inch arm reach. This is why this fight has to be ruled an exhibition and not a real professional boxing match, because no boxing commission will sanction it. Let me know what y'all think about this. As you see, Tank Davis is using and working on movement. Let me know. I'm gone. Peace.
Chael Sonnen, a former UFC star and fight analyst, has made it apparent that Gervonta Davis has a lot riding on this bout for boxing's reputation. Sonnen said that no matter what Jake Paul has done to get people interested in the sport, it's now on Tank to show audiences what real boxing is about. This isn't just a war for Sonnen. It's a declaration. Davis's goal is to illustrate that technical talent, timing, and years of experience in the ring are still more important than what people say on social media. Sonnen added with confidence that Tank's job is to stop the circus around Jake's career by letting his fist do the talking. A knockout is more than just a win. It's a message to everyone who has forgotten what elite boxing really is.
Which is to let anybody know that's listening that it doesn't make any difference, that boxing is a real sport. My skills versus your skills, of which I have an abundance of and of which you have none of. My life's commitment and dedication versus a second or third or fourth thought in the world of priority on your list. And I used to believe those things. Now, I go back far enough in MMA that I've had my eyes open a number of times. The fact that karate was so incredibly useless, or the fact that Jeet Kune Do was so incredibly useless, like these were not things that I would have bet on when I was in high school. As a wrestler at that time, I would not have assumed that I would fare well in a fight against somebody that knew Kung Fu. We had all been falsely led through Hollywood. Not through competition, not through sport, not through understanding of the game, but just through Hollywood. We were told that those guys were the most dangerous guys. So, we then eventually get up to Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather, which had a weight discrepancy, but it was very small. I mean, I watched him weigh in, I want to say it was like 8 pounds.
As fight week gets closer, videos and reports have shown that Davis has been sparring with heavyweight fighters in his camp. These sparring sessions are not easy workouts at all. They're full-force simulations that make Tank go beyond what he's used to. His trainers suggest that the goal is to make the real fight feel easy. By training against harder opponents, the heavyweights make him improve his defensive reflexes, move his head more, and learn how to create power more effectively against bigger opponents. Every round makes him more sure of himself, showing that Davis's timing and accuracy make the difference even against stronger men. It's a strange yet very effective plan, one that shows how seriously he takes Jake Paul as a real opponent.
Lucas, film! Lucas, film! Take it up. Get that stick in the short stick. Go! There you go. There you go. Relax. See everything come. Everything come.
Famous boxing coach Teddy Atlas has said that Gervonta Davis is one of the strongest and most skilled fighters in the sport right now. Atlas said that some fans are talking about Jake Paul's size advantage, but it won't matter once the battle starts. He thinks that Davis's experience against the best fighters gives him an edge that Jake can't match. Atlas said that Tank had fought in every style possible: counterpunchers, pressure fighters, taller men, and defensive technicians. Atlas said that people who wonder, what if Jake lands one big shot, are missing the point. Jake's resume doesn't have any real boxing veterans. He remarked that Davis's ability to handle pressure is what makes him different from other performers who fight for show.
Do have one guy who, yeah, he's smaller, but he's a top fighter. He can punch, and he's fighting a guy who's not a top pro fighter, who's bigger. What if he hits him on the chin? What if he hits him on the chin? It'll wind up selling. And that's what'll wind up selling it. The what if. What if Tank makes him do a cha-cha? He hits him on the chin, and Jake Paul, we're going to find out if he can dance. Whoa, 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 whoa. You know, do the cha-cha. That's what's going to sell it. And you can't argue that what if. You can't. I know I get to places that other people won't go and everything else. They just dismiss stuff because it's easier to do that. It's safer to do that. You don't have the bows and arrows coming at you from people that argue with you because you did that. But I don't care. I've had bows and arrows my whole life. I don't care. But that's true. That what if? What if this guy who is a real good puncher, who is one of the best fighters in the world right now, what if he hits him? What if he makes a miss and he counters him? Or he jumps up in the air. Right! And he hits him. Sid Terrace was a great fighter. No, not the 1700s, but years ago. And Cus D'Amato told me he loved Sid Terrace. He said, Teddy, he used to jump up in the air and hit you with 3 jabs. I said, whoa, man, Sid Terrace. All right. Anyway, look, I can't finish without saying that it did invoke some memories and thoughts that we've been here before in a different way, where Jake Paul's brother fought Mayweather. That's not forget. And I'm not saying I like that either. I mean, first of all, Mayweather was past his prime. He was already retired. He was older, everything, but he's still the great Mayweather. And Mayweather was fighting a guy, what was it, 50-pound difference, 60-pound difference, whatever it was. And that size made a difference. It allowed Jake Paul's brother to be in there and be able to last with a smaller man, a smaller, older, greater fighter who's mostly was concentrating on defense more than just offense.
Max Kellerman, a sports analyst, gave a more personal view on Tank's motivation. He said that Davis took the Jake Paul fight in part to make sure he had enough money to live on and spend more time with his family. Tank reportedly sought a battle that would be both exciting and pay him well enough to give him some breathing room after years of relentless training camps and title defenses. Kellerman said that Davis has been thinking about slowing down his profession so he may spend more time with his family and keep his mind healthy. Kellerman thinks that the fight with Jake Paul isn't about business. It's a step in the right direction. Davis can enjoy the benefits of his career while still reminding everyone that he's still one of boxing's most dangerous warriors when the gloves are on.
You got a guy like Gervonta, who I personally think has been checked out for way longer than this last fight. I think he was checked out prior to the Roach fight. I thought this was all going to be in the works, where he was supposed to beat the 16-1 Roach and then go on to fight Jake Paul and then call it a career, because I think the people around him understood there wasn't much left in the tank for him in terms of his want or his desire to be here. He did an interview with Dan Canobio about 18 months ago where he was like, yeah, man, I just kind of want to raise my family. I don't know how much left of boxing for me. I don't want to see a therapist. I want to, I need to, but like I don't want to take away from my fighting. But I think it's time for me to do stuff like that. So I think the writing's been on the wall for Tank for a while. So that draw was kind of just like, I was on the way out anyway. I don't need to go back in there. And I said it at the end of that fight. I'm like, there's no way we see that rematch. He was so uncomfortable in that ring with Roach. He doesn't want to feel that again. He showed that night. So I'm not surprised that fight's not happening. I'm not even surprised he's fighting Jake Paul now. It's a cash out.
Chris Manx and Sergio Mora, to commentators, observed how different the two boxers were on the press tour. Jake Paul, as usual, performed the role of the promoter by shouting loudly, getting people excited, and utilizing his charm to get people to pay attention. Davis, on the other hand, stayed silent and composed and clearly didn't care about the verbal games. Manx said that Jake knows how to sell a fight, but Davis understands how to win one. Mora said that Tank's lack of trash talk doesn't damage him. It shows how concentrated he is. Both commentators agree that Tank's physical power and talent will speak louder than words. When the lights go out and the conversation stops.
And even though Jake Paul tried to egg him on and try to goad Gervonta Davis on, he's dealing with somebody that is not a quick-witted, thinker. He's not a quick-witted speaker. Tank Davis is explosive in the ring. He's fast and powerful in the ring. He's charismatic inside the ring when he's punching. But when you put a microphone in front of him, he's not articulate. He doesn't know how to quickly respond to people. He stutters a lot. He does more stuttering than talking. So Gervonta Davis in front of a microphone is not going to sell. So Tank Davis shouldn't be put in a podium like that. He should have speakers for him. He should have someone talking for him. He should have a mouthpiece. Tank Davis is not going to sell this fight. And Jake Paul knows it. That's the reason he kept throwing jabs at him. He tried to get Tank out of his shell. Tank's not quick verbally enough. He's not quick-witted. He's not quick with the tongue. So in order for him to sell this fight, he's going to have an adversary that can spit something back. Like, for instance, Chavez Jr., he didn't have that quick-witted a response, but he had the backing, he had the loyal following. And Chavez Jr., like many Mexicans, don't need to speak because they do all their fighting in the ring, and people know that. Tank Davis, I don't know, man. He didn't look good in his last fight. He's not fighting the killers in his division. People are getting off that Tank train, and we know that he's had his issues outside the ring. The love's not there anymore. Tank Davis is losing a lot of passion, a lot of followers, and people aren't buying this circus that Jake Paul's trying to sell. And I'm glad that people are getting off this train. The commission in Georgia got off this damn train. That's why they had to move this fight to Florida, where anything could happen.
Tim Bradley, a former world champion, said that Davis didn't have many choices before agreeing to fight Jake Paul. He said that Tank's first goal was to fight Lamont Roach again, but the talks fell through. The Jake Paul agreement became the most plausible way to move forward, because there weren't many major fights available and promoters were pushing for it. Bradley noted that even though some people might think it's a bad business move, it gives Tank a lot of publicity and money. He stressed that individuals don't know how many things that aren't obvious affect these kinds of choices. Politics, timing, and management all have an effect. Bradley thinks that no matter how the fight happened, Davis would make the most of it and show fans why he's a world-class boxer.
You know, I do. I'm not making no excuses for Tank at all, but this is just my perspective, man. Tank had no other choice but to do this fight, man. He had no other choice. You know, he was in training for that Lamont Roach fight, and, you know, then the covers got pulled off, you know, and then this fight came about. You know, this is an inside thing, man. I swear, man, I'm telling y'all, this is an inside thing. You know, this is something that Al, PBC wanted Canelo to do, you know, because this is how they eat. This is how they gonna eat. This is how they gonna recoup, you know. As you know, PBC, they got no legs to stand on, man. You know, money going out, not enough money coming in. They got to spend their own bread, you know, for everything, you know, for everything. So, you know, they need money coming in. And their guy, Canelo, left. He with Turkey now. They wanted Canelo to do this fight. And now Tank is obligated to do this fight, man. Again, to save PBC. I promise y'all, man. I'm telling you. You know, Tank was already signed up to fight Roach rematch. He was already signed up, you know. You could just tell, man. I can tell, you know. Yesterday, listening to the press conference, I saw, like, I don't know what it was. It was something with Jalen Love, and it's like a secret. I don't know what that is. It's a secret, though.
Fans started to wonder if Gervonta Davis was really into the Jake Paul bout. After the press conference, people saw that he was quiet, had a remote look on his face, and didn't react much to Jake's taunts. Some people thought it was a focus, while others said it was a lack of interest. The fact that one was bigger than the other also led to arguments about fairness and competition. A lot of fans thought Tank would be more talkative, but he just sat there looking calm and zoned out, maybe saving his energy for the ring. People who know Davis well argue that his silence shouldn't be regarded as a sign that he doesn't care. It's something he does to get ready mentally. He's just not going to waste energy on showy moves that don't help him win fights.
Jake Paul legitimately cooked Gervonta Davis in that press conference, and I really don't know how to feel about that. And to be honest with you, I still don't understand how boxing even allowed this to be made. Like, I don't. Like, dog, this is not an overstatement. Like, literally one of the core pillars holding up boxing is, like this literal, like, fake superiority complex that they have over literally every other combat sport. Despite literally being the least effective main combat sport there is. Brother, kickboxing, Muay Thai, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, wrestling, brother, I put judo over I put boxing. In terms of practicality of combat, oh yeah, 100%. Brother, if Jake Paul makes it competitive against Gervonta Davis, I'm looking at this like, brother. Oh, well, weight difference, brother. Gervonta Davis has been training his entire life. I'm sorry, bro. It's bad enough that the fact that if this was under any other combat sport, this would literally be like one of the most one-sided matchups of all time. And it wouldn't be in favor of Davis. No, dog, if you did this under an MMA rule set, oh my gosh, bro, Paul cooks Gervonta. It's not close at all. Like, round one finish level. Like, understand this, Gervonta Davis versus Jake Paul is taking place in literally the only combat sport where Davis should win. I'm still shocked that they allowed it to be made. Because, like, there's no upside. If Jake Paul beats Gervonta Davis, now we're kind of looking like, wait a minute. What? Like, brother, don't forget. I still think it's a horrible look that Tyson Fury couldn't finish Francis Ngannou. That is so bad. Well, Francis Ngannou's a great boxer. Francis Ngannou, no joke, is one of the worst boxers to ever be in the UFC. He just has absurd power. No, look at the technique of Francis Ngannou. It's not that good. It's carried by power. Like, going into it, like, I'm hyped, but it's also, I'm looking at this like, bro, Gervonta has to finish, bro.
some people are now shifting their focus to Davis. Even though Jake Paul has been accused of taking advantage of boxing's traditions, they say that by agreeing to fight Jake, Tank might be supporting the trend of influencer boxing that he used to oppose. Fans who wanted him to focus on real contenders are upset because they think this fight is more about entertainment than legacy. Some people, on the other hand, support his choice, saying that boxing has always been a mix of sport and entertainment. Davis wants to control the story and show that skill and authenticity still count, even in this crossover moment. If he beats Jake Paul, it might turn the criticism back on those who doubted him and bring back the balance between showmanship and true boxing skill.
Jake Paul is not the problem with boxing. Tank Davis is. Jake Paul's doing exactly what he's supposed to do. He's a Disney Channel kid, YouTube star turned boxer. Of course, he's going to make these stupid spectacle matchups. He doesn't care about his career, his legacy, or the sport. Meanwhile, we have Tank Davis, the heir apparent to Floyd Mayweather and Adrian Broner, who has real talent. And if he was actually consistent in the ring and was willing to get in with some of the best fighters in the world, he could be top 3 pound for pound best fighters in the sport. But instead, Tank just wants to hold up his division for 5 years and make a mockery of the sport, especially with this fight.
That's all for today's video. Keep watching. Until next time.